I sincerely thank each of you for giving me this honor for the work that I have been doing relentlessly for the last 21 years. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful to each of you, each of my brethren who have made it happen today. When you look back, 27 years ago when I came here, I had a single dream. We need to build relationship between these two countries. It was the most important part. We want to deal with India, but we don't understand India. We need to build media. We need to build communication. We need to inform and educate every corner, every public servant, every corporate officer, every happening man in North America about what each of you and the next generation stands up for. Thanks to our principal, as I call him, Mr. Gopal Raju, late Gopal Raju. He started a mission with India Abroad. And I felt India Abroad is doing excellent work. But how will people know about what's going on in India? Because India Abroad mostly was covering what was happening in our lives here. A simple mission: let's bring the most trusted, most honest, highest integrity, what is called journalism of courage, the Indian Express to North America. We launched the first Indian media in North America in 2000 with one single edition first, in 2000. I had other options. I chose those options, out of those options, Indian Express, because there was a man standing when I was growing up, late Ramnaji Goenka. When India saw the attack on media during emergency, if you all recollect, every media had to send the copy of their newspaper to the government. And government could allow you to publish what they want. If they don't agree with you, you need to take it out. We all grew up waking up in the morning to wait for the newspaper to come. And this Indian Express, when it landed in our homes, it had blank portions in the paper. Why? Because government informed him this article cannot go, this column cannot go. He said no problems. He took out that space, left it blank, just to convey the message. This is freedom. We stand up for independence. We stand up for courage. So we chose to be the Indian Express of North America. Even though I have a franchisee agreement, even if I went to them for content, slowly we developed our own. And I'm glad to see my friend Lali Jha here. He worked with me day and night. I remember Mini working for a newspaper. I remember Ajay. These were very simple, very honest, very dedicated journalists, just like each of you are. And I'm sharing you from the core of my heart because my father taught me one thing when I became an engineer. He said, you may be a decorated engineer, but a nation is built by two people. A teacher and a journalist. These two people build a nation. You come after them. If they do the right things, you will get an opportunity to build the nation as an engineer. But if there is no media, there is no freedom, there is no expression, there is no responsibility, you are done. Just like US saw. We all thrive in this economy, in this great country. It was all about slavery. Somebody must have thought we need to take a stand. Somebody must have stood up to say this is wrong. Somebody must have had the courage to stand up and express it and take a stand. And I'm sure they were journalists. They used the media. They used the renaissance, the revolution they created to inform everybody to take a stand. This country cannot tolerate slavery. This is about independence. So each of you, who is a journalist, I individually, and collectively on behalf of billions of people from my country, and my living God, salute you. But recently what I've seen is, and many times I feel very lonely, I think it's all about money. And I'm sharing with you, each of you, because India just saw a revolution. In 250 days, a man who was selling tea against all odds, against every opposition, against the might of the mightiest, came forward and became the Prime Minister of India. A lot of it goes to, obviously, his abilities, capabilities, team. Media played a big role. Very, very big role. What worries me is, we are all into heroism. I am a personal friend of the Prime Minister, who is now the Prime Minister. At that time, he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, and I am the publisher of the Web Bhaskar. I respect him. Personally at home, I adore him. But what worries me is, we have a tendency to get carried away. When we worship somebody, nothing is wrong about that person. Nothing. Whatever they do is right. That is the time when we need to watch. We need to be very careful, because tons of money will flow. And I'm sure, like I learned a long time back, each of you chose to be a journalist because that was a choice you made. You could have been an IAS officer. You could have been an entrepreneur. You could have been an engineer or a doctor. Whatever you chose to be. And one of my friends told me, journalists are artists. They are very sensitive community. Don't take it easy. Don't let money control you. Being a publisher is not a business card. It does not get me any recognition, and Lalit will confirm there is a rule in our company. The picture of Suneel Hali cannot come in my newspaper. And people send us money, checks with pictures. Please publish it and keep the check. And we, with respect, send them back with Federal Express. Please keep it. But do me a favor, for every $1,000 you donate to an American politician, get me an internship for a kid. That is more important to us. So my worry continues to be there that we may think no matter what Modi ji does is right, and everything else is wrong. This is the time to be very careful. We are rebuilding a nation now. And I am telling you, if there was no America, there would be no growing India the way it is today. Each of you is making that difference. How much of foreign remittances goes to India, how much of business goes to India, everybody knows. Numbers don't matter today. I remember when 2 billion was raised in 1991, when India was on the verge of bankruptcy, State Bank of India, New York sent the money. Today money is irrelevant. India is happening. You as journalists, and I urge you, I request you, I plead you. Without you, there cannot be a newspaper. Never think a publisher is bigger than you. There cannot be a newspaper. There can be ads in the newspaper, but there will be no content. And if you publish press releases and content, there will be no reader because nobody is interested in them. There are people who look for. I'm just referring to a newspaper for a newspaper. It could be TV, it could be radio, it could be internet, it could be an email, it could be a small highlight of the day. Anything that comes. Today, people have choices. People want to read, people want to pay attention to something which is good. That is where you each make the difference. Suneel Hali is not ultimate. Suneel Halis are not ultimate. Each of you is ultimate. I worry today in my community, and I am sharing with each of you, there is a very little legacy being left. How many of Aziz Hanifas and how many of Lalit Shahs, how many of Lavina Melwanis are left? How many have a program to teach to the next level what is journalism about? This is my third worry. How will we, whether it is me or other publishers, whether me or other promoters, whether it is radio, whether it is online, where is the content going to come from? It is about expression. You are very, very important to us. You can make or break the society today. Media has become very powerful, extremely relevant, extremely significant and important. If an Indus American bank opens a branch in Plainsboro, how will somebody know if there is no communication? He can put an ad in my newspaper, but that's not going to take him far because nobody picks up my newspaper. My newspaper will be picked up because there is a Ajay Ghosh writing. And he better write. You ask him, he works with me, have I ever told him what to publish? No, I'm a reader, I'm one of us. If people like the paper, his credit. And being an engineer, as I told you, I have a tendency for growth, tendency to expand, but we depend on you. I realized we are a small community at that time, 989,000. Today we are exceeding 4 million and 1.5 million in Canada, which is our territory primarily. I promise each of you, whether you come to our radio, which was a small dream when I went to CBS, who have never given a radio frequency to anybody outside of CBS in their 100+ year history. I fought with them for 10 years. You cannot neglect my community. You need to give me the frequency, I'll give you the money from wherever I get. Today we have, from Silicon Valley to Big Apple to the Capitol Hill. That was the logic to build the radio station. Whether it is Indian Express 3 editions, whether it is Divya Bhaskar, whether it is our Punjabi channel. The first time when I wrote the white paper for ZTV in 1996, I went to the chairman in India and he was laughing. Hali Sahab, America mein anybody will watch Indian television, Hindi TV? I went to Sun, I went to Asianet. We slowly brought one by one. Not me, we. But none of these guys, whether it is a Times Now, which I brought in 2009. I am telling you today, without each of you, without your integrity, without your capability, without your character, without your courage, we cannot move forward. And I am so happy a forum has been created by each of you. I don't know if I will call it a club. It is a powerhouse. Let's grow it to every nook and corner of America. We don't need a Bobby Jindal. We need you. That is the only request I have for each of you. Please speak your mind. You are not ordinary. You are extraordinary. There is one guiding line which I have shared with my team always. Do not hesitate to communicate a sensational news, but do not sensationalize it. It's very important. I promise you, as an individual, and lots of my friends, among them, he calls me a friend and I call him an elder brother, Andy Bhatia, who is here, who has single-handedly flown the flag of India, as he says, at the highest level in the world. When Air India flies at the highest level, let's fly India's flag at the highest level, individually and collectively. Thank you very much. And now we will officially say the launch of the Indo-American Press Club, which should have the longest life ever.